thank Jim and Ashley. I got a lot out of this meeting. I went through the steps before. I was in drug court before, and went through them just to basically jump through their hoops. Of course, not too fast, not too slow. Anyway, this time around, I'm doing them for me, and I just want to thank everybody for being here.
Thanks, Troy.
Thanks, Troy. I'm Mike. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Mike.
I just want to say thank you, both of you. You know, really good stories related to a lot of it, and I'm gonna go back and think about what the shit that the shit that I used to do, and it's stupid. It's just damn it. But I really did relate to a lot of your stories, and I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. That's all I got.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm Kirk, an alcoholic, and just really feel wonderful being here, and the unmanageability and the powerlessness were really presented real good tonight by both of you, and I really appreciate that, and I know I'm in the right room tonight, you know what I mean? Listening to you guys talk, I mean, some of the powerlessness and unmanageability that you guys had in your lives and gals in your lives, I really could relate to, and it's amazing, people from our area, from Blackfoot, from even here, we have this common bond called alcoholism, and we have a common solution too, and I'm just really glad, I'm glad to go through the steps like this again and have the opportunity, and for everybody coming, and being here, because there's a dynamic, so, I realized that because I wanted to retire from Alcoholics Anonymous a couple weeks ago, and I didn't want to go drink. I just didn't want to on a freaking pier, I was growling and grumbling, and it's like, I love it, and each one of us brings a dynamic to a group that we attend, and sometimes life gets a little hectic, but making the meetings is important because, helps me remember a lot of that unmanageability and how easy it is to get back there, and it doesn't always take a drink to go there either, and, you really pointed it out, Ashley, you can be in program and be powerless and unmanageable until you do something about it, and thanks for guys for showing up, and thanks to everybody for making this a really dynamic event, and look forward to more of the steps, and program works when you work in, apply it. Sure don't want it all. Thanks.
Thanks, Kurt.
I'm Jim, and I'm an alcoholic, and
Hey, Jim.
I actually was reading that part of the third chapter there, and I always think about this. When I think about powerlessness and unmanageability, I think about incomprehensible demoralization, those words. And I was kind of trying to describe those just the way I was feeling, how lack of self-worth I had before, But those words, those two big words, fit that description so good, And for Bill Wilson to have written that down, with just 100 people in the program that had the experience, there was only 100 people sober when they wrote that book, and for him to write that and get it, take it to them and get it edited, and then make a final copy of that, to me is like, it's miraculous, and it talks about miracles in it, For me, it's like, again, that first chapter, 12 by 12, the first page talks about how we have to hit that bottom. It's like, it's the taproot of AA, it's the foundation. And for me, I know I hit it, but I think it's one of those things, the bottom is one of those things that you can hit it, and if you forget about it, you you can kind of rise up off it or something and think you haven't hit it again, you know. And I know for me, I've done that in my sobriety. You know, I've gotten to like where I wasn't coming to music. I retired like you talked about. You know? You said you felt like retiring, you know. And when I was 13, I did retire for a while. I didn't retire. I didn't want to retire. I just got down to where I was going to like one meeting a week. I'm committed to one meeting a week. And if something happens with my kids or anything like that, or my job, and I don't make that meeting, then it's 2 weeks. Then it's 3 weeks. Then it becomes hard to go to a meeting because I haven't been in a month, and I feel guilty for not being there giving away what was so freely given to me. You know, and I start feeling bad about it, you know. And then I don't go. And I go, oh, all I need is God to stay sober. I got me a higher power in this place, you know what I mean? I got me, the word God just, you know, it just made hackles on my neck when I got here. You know, it's like, no, I don't want to hear that, you know what I mean? And then you guys talked about your different conceptions of power greater than myself, of yourselves, and I thought, it doesn't have to be the way it was when I grew up. You know, this is religion. It's just a spiritual program, you know. And I know we're talking about the first step here, but you really can't talk about the first step without the second step, I don't think. To me, it's too painful, you know, because the first step is a painful place of me seeing how powerless I am and how unmanageable my thinking gets. I need a solution. I need to get into the happy place again, you know, and the happy place is when I come to ask a higher power to help me, to guide me and direct me, you know, and I get that guidance, you know, I always do, you know, but I forget it so easily. It's a daily thing, you know, but I can go back to that place, and I did that, and I had to hit a bottom. And when you were describing your 18 months of being here and not doing the program, I was in the place where I felt like, you know, AA, I loved AA, I worked all the steps, I did everything, and I kept doing them even when I was drifting. I was trying to keep doing them even when I was drifting, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And I came back to a meeting, my first meeting back, after 6 years of not being here, I stayed sober an hour and a half. I didn't really want to drink, but that's the suicide word kept sounding pretty good to me, you know. And I came back and I got a new sponsor, and he said, you know, you're about this close to a drink, man. And I said, nah, man, I got my higher power, you know. God gave me sobriety and all this stuff, and he did, you know. He did. But I'm not doing anything with it. You got to give it away to keep it. And there's no better place to give away this program than in an AA meeting. There's no simpler place or better place. All you got to do is come here and show up, share if you can, if you got something to share. But if you keep coming, it kind of rubs off on you, doesn't it? 18 months, it took a while to rub off on you, you know, it did. And I've heard that story so many times, you know, of people coming here. One of my good friends, Dave, he started the Primary Purpose group, you know, and he says, you know, he came for a year, and he goes, all I could hear was the whining in AA, you know. And he said, after a year when I surrendered, all I could hear was the music, you know. And to me, that's a good, really good description of it, you know. Because at first I heard the music, you know. And then later, I don't think I ever quit hearing the music. I just separated myself from it for a while, you know. And doing that just made me get back to a very lonely place. In that book, in A Vision for You, the last chapter of the first 164, it says, if you're alcoholic like we are, you know loneliness as few do. You know, and to me, that's when I read that, I could relate. You know, at the beginning of my sobriety, I could relate. I could be in a crowd and be lonely. In my sobriety, when I was 19 years sober, same thing. I had loneliness as few do again, you know, and I knew it was because I wasn't getting to meetings, I wasn't sticking my hand out, and I wasn't participating in my sobriety. That's all.
Thanks, Jim.
See ya.
I'm James, and I am a grateful alcoholic.
Hey, James.
James.
This is my third meeting today, and it's a great day. I hustled from the 7 o'clock meeting. I'm on my AA Harleys. It's been known to be called now, and I'm just kind of sticking with it. But I'm just getting into the big book. I got my first copy of it today. I worked with my sponsor a little bit on it yesterday, and I'm excited. He's like, it's amazing. This thing has nothing to do with alcohol. Blew my mind. I'm like, really? You know, AA has the big book has nothing to do with alcohol. It's like Ashley was saying about, you know, it's an addiction and it's a mental thing all in the same. And I guess I was a sober drunk. I was 4 months sober before I came to my first meeting. And I had lost the want to drink, but I still had the same stupid having to be in control all the time. It had to be my way or no way, and that's the exact same way it was when I was drinking. I thought I was happy, but I guess I wasn't. You know, I wasn't as happy as I thought. I'd still be really angry, and then, you know, I'd sit there and then I'd throw myself a pity party, blow up some balloons, and then pop them. You know. But I'm just grateful that these rooms are here and that everyone's here, and it was really good listening to Jim and Ashley talk. You know, I love these rooms for the stories because we're all the same inside, you know. Every last one of us is sharing the exact same experience, and we had to finally give ourselves over to a higher power. And that was tough for me because it's my way. I've been on my own since I was 15, you know, and I've done just fine. Mm-hmm. Right? Fine.
Yeah, man.
You know, I wish I only had 3 DUIs. I had 3 by the time I was 21. But I found a way to beat them, I thought. And then they finally found a way to catch up to me. I've had, I think, 9. And this is the first one that I've actually had to do anything over. I had to do some AA. I went to 90 meetings in 90 days, and I showed them. And then I stopped going to meetings when I didn't need to and started drinking again, because I could do that. You know, I was in control. But I never read the big book, and like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to working my program. But I'm just happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
I'm Greg, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah, I can relate to a lot of what both of you said tonight, and you know, it made me think about myself. You know, I was 25, I believe. Might be 24, I don't know, 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there. It was a long time ago. And you know, we used to drink a lot, me and my wife, my ex-wife. You know, we were sharing a 5th of Bacardi Dark every night. Didn't drink during the day, and it didn't affect our lives too much, you know. I didn't think I was an alcoholic. Had no idea. My father had quit drinking because he was an alcoholic, but didn't reflect on me. One morning I woke up and said, I've had enough of that, and didn't touch another drop for 3 years. You know, and I had no AA experience at all. Knew nothing about it. And 3 years later, we decided to share a bottle of wine. That bottle of wine turned into another 5 years of drinking every day. That night alone was chaos. I mean, chaos. We were in Island Park, and half a bottle of wine I drank was gone, and there was no more. And I went nuts. I drove clear around all over the country looking for another bottle of wine. You know, and I was going probably 60, 70 miles an hour. I wanted it bad. You know, that's how much chaos there was. And I had no idea I was an alcoholic. You know, and the big book tells you that if you're an alcoholic, you take one drink, it's all over again. And I had no idea. And, you know, I proved it to myself right there. You know, and finally, life got so miserable, and I was miserable. My new wife I had at this time was getting the brunt of a lot of it, you know, and I decided I wanted to go to rehab because it was affecting my job a little bit, and I was miserable with her. So I went to rehab to help save my marriage. I had no idea I was, you know, what I was getting into. But I didn't do it for myself. I did it for a lot of other reasons. And after rehab, I stayed sober about 90 days. And went and had a drink with a buddy of mine, and that turned into another nightmare. And it was, as soon as I had that first beer, you know, the rest of it, we closed the bar down, and that was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we were hammered. I was hammered very badly. I don't remember going home that night. And I woke up, where the hell's my car? And I went and looked, and it was out in the driveway. I thought, oh, not wrecked. Amazing. But, you know, that turned into another 20-year run. Again, no AA. I did go to some AA meetings in the meantime, but, you know, I was doing it because I was forced to. And I had several DUIs over the years, but didn't get in trouble for any of them. You know, nothing ever happened. It was, you know, before they changed the laws. You know, I got a slap on the wrist, and that was about it. And the last one I got, they wanted to put me in prison for 2 years. That was the first DUI in 15 years. What are you talking about? Well, you had 6 before that. So, it's been 15 years ago. But anyway, you know, it straightened me up, and I found AA this time around, and, you know, it's totally different for me, and I don't know what year. Let's see, I guess it was June 15th of 05, I guess, is my sobriety date. And, you know, it stuck this time, and life is just so much different. I didn't believe that I could ever be happy again, you know. But it took this program to get me there. And, you know, things that used to make me miserable don't bother me anymore. You know, and, you know, my higher power is more in contact. I just really enjoy life today. You know, I mean, outside these rooms, that world out there is still a miserable place to be. You know, I put up with shit every day that before would have either made me, you know, really rambunctious or angry or destructive to myself or someone else or something else. And today I know better to, you know, I can't change that world out there, but I can change myself. You know, and that world's so much easier to deal with today than it ever was in my past. You know, it's just a wonderful life. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. If we have any burning desires, we'll certainly hear them out. But otherwise, we're at the end of our time. I would like to hear more if we got any. I got time.
Thanks, Drake.
Burn, baby, burn.
If there are no burning desires, we'll please remember that